161st Street, Yankee Stadium.
Swung on and hit in the air. The deep center. Gets back, away back. She is gone.
All right. Welcome back to the Boys at 161st Street, episode 175. I guess we took a 2-week break because we took a 1-week break and then the holidays happened. So that's why we didn't do an episode. And the Yankees also haven't done shit. But now they've done so little that we need to talk about how little they've done. And we are going to do episodes from here on out every week. We just needed a little time to ourselves with the holidays, but now we're back. We've decompressed, and we're ready to talk about how awful this team is and how awful they are run. And before we get into all of that nonsense, why don't we talk about all of the moves to catch everybody up? Because me personally, I was paying attention to it, but I also was kind of like not paying attention to it. So I did a little refresher course as to where all of the free agents have gone and free agents and trades to this point. So I put it by team. So currently to date, the moves have been, and we're recording this at 10:34 on Tuesday. So things may fly in and we may get some breaking news. Could get some breaking news. Hopefully we get some Yankees breaking news, and you'll already know this by the time you're listening to this on the podcast platforms. But Corey Seager is now a Texas Ranger along with Simeon and John Gray. The Texas Rangers decided to just spend a fucking ton of money. Max Scherzer, Starlin Marte, Mark Canha, and Eduardo Escobar are on New York Mets. Javi Baez and Eduardo Rodriguez, Erod from the Red Sox, are now both on the Detroit Tigers. Noah Syndergaard, Tyler Wade, Michael Lorenzen are all on the Angels. Robbie Ray is a Seattle Mariner. Kevin Gausman is a Toronto Blue Jay. That sucks. Verlander stays with Houston. Kirby Yates to Atlanta. Joey Wendell, Sandy Alcantara, Avisel Garcia, all on the Miami Marlins, and Byron Buxton stays with the Twins for a $100 million extension. Full no trade clause there. The Yankees have lost Odor to the Baltimore Orioles, Kluber to the Rays, who's going to be probably a Cy Young because they can figure out pitching, and he's exactly the reclamation project that we tried to get with him. He threw a no-hitter, and then he got hurt for the entire year. They're going to get a Cy Young out of him. Joely Rodriguez is the only one that stayed with us, and thank fucking God Joely's back. Clint Frazier's a Cub, Tyler Wade's an Angel, Velasquez is a Dodger or an Angel as well.
I think he's an Angel as well.
Not on the Yankees, and Andrew Heaney is a Dodger.
Thank God. That's the only move the Yankees have gotten right this entire offseason.
So that was the quick little.
Clint Frazier still has Scranton Railroaders forever in his Twitter bio.
It says forever now?
Yeah.
That's new.
I don't think I was going to say it didn't always say
Scranton Railroaders forever.
I can't wait till he goes and talks publicly about the Yankees for the first time after
He's
all
gonna
this.
go on
He's
Mike's
going
podcast.
He's gonna win MVP.
He's going to burn them to the fucking ground in the first interview he does.
I said this to you guys before we got on the air. I mean, the outfield in Wrigley is a brick wall. He likes to run into walls. At Yankee Stadium, there was padding. There ain't no forgiving on that brick wall with the ivy. He's gonna literally die.
You know the little helmets?
Yeah.
Like no. I'm
that.
saying like on like Premier League soccer and shit. The little leather helmets the goalies will wear so they don't hit the goalpost. That's what Clint Frazier's gonna have to wear out in Chicago.
John Olerud wore a helmet when he played in the field. So maybe that's what we'll do.
Well, there you have it.
Unprecedented.
Clint Frazier on the Chicago Cubs. I think he might actually have to be a away ballpark outfielder. He can't be home. He's gonna run into the walls and he's gonna die. So, or he's just gonna be scared and not track down balls like he did for the entirety of his career with the Yankees when he wasn't dying for them. But that's neither here nor there. I am pissed about the Corey Kluber thing because I know, and I'll touch on that again. I know for a fact he's gonna be unbelievable and he's gonna stay healthy somehow.
Yeah.
No, Murphy?
I disagree. I think he's over the hill. I mean, the fact that he's on the Rays, I think, is his best option.
That's what I mean.
I don't think he's gonna be anything special.
I do. He's gonna.
I think
he's gonna face fuck us 5 times a year.
Well, so yeah, that's the thing is that I'm more worried about him doing well against us than like being a Cy Young winner.
Well, that's why I'm talking about like I mentioned before the Gausman thing to Toronto. That's not cool. I mean, they did lose Robbie
No.
Ray, so I guess you swap Robbie hit Ray for Kevin Gausman, which, I mean, Robbie Ray won the Cy Young, so I guess that's a downgrade right there. But Gausman was pretty fucking good, and he was in the running for a Cy Young at multiple points this year. So,
Dude, Toronto's got a legit staff, and it's pretty scary.
Toronto's got a legit everything. As it sits right now, you know, 10:38 on Tuesday, the Yankees are the 4th best team in the AL East.
I agree with that.
And I don't think it's particularly close. I think the 3 above them are leaps and bounds ahead of where the Yankees are right now.
Yeah.
well, Schwarber's still got to figure out his ball. He's going to stay with Boston, but not that really makes that much of a difference. But I
He's
just want
not a fucking needle mover.
I know.
Wait,
He-
what's
he
the
was good
deal?
for them.
So Rizzo is a free agent, correct?
Correct.
Correct.
Rizzo is a free agent. So I want to go. That was a good segue, Murphy, to the people that are still available.
You're welcome.
It was a professional segue.
Totally planned that one out.
Episode 175 figured it out. So Carlos Correa is still available. Chris Bryant's still available.
Oh, really? Yes.
He is still
Sorry.
available. Chris Bryant, before I was rudely interrupted. Clayton Kershaw, which there is just no shot. He's not a Dodger to me, but he's.
I don't think he will.
I find it shocking. I think if he is not a Dodger, I think he's retiring.
I think he's a
Dude,
Yankee.
if the Mets have $25 million sitting around, I feel like they might get him.
If they have $25 million sitting around,
See,
it
that's the
wouldn't even
difference.
I don't know
shock me
what
if
they
the
could
Mets
possibly
signed
have
Correa.
left.
I feel like the Mets are going to go sign like Correa and Chris Bryant, and they're just going to move Bryant to first, like Correa to third. They have the universal DH.
So ridiculous.
I
Now,
mean,
before we move on to the rest of
Steve
this list,
Cohen sold his living room couch to get Scherzer. I don't think they have
he
room.
wants to get everybody.
that didn't do a damn thing to Cohen's pockets. Cohen is literally
I know,
like
but-
if one of us were a billionaire and got to like just have fun and buy new shiny toys, and we're like, well, I've got billions of dollars and I like baseball, so
No, they seem like the Yankees of old, and they're gonna. It's almost roles reversed right now. But my question to you guys is: do you think that they're still gonna be Metsing it up, or do you think they're actually gonna be finally be good this year? I mean,
No, they're going to
I was mentioning to you guys before we hopped on the air, DeGrom and Scherzer, if they both stay healthy, could potentially be one. And I don't even think this is a hot take. One of the best duos, starting pitching duos in all time.
no.
Yeah.
If they're both healthy
They
and
have
they,
the potential to be.
if they both pitch
That's
the
a-
entire year, then yes.
I mean, they're literally two of the best pitchers of all time.
I know, and they were both having Cy Young years. And DeGrom got hurt last year, and Scherzer almost won it.
I mean, they're the two best pitchers in the league since 2018, without a doubt.
I think it's
And
going to be a trivia question one day down the road. And it's going to be like, remember that time that Scherzer and DeGrom pitched on the same team?
And they both had
Like,
300
and they just
strikeouts.
happened to both no. And they just happened to both be on the Mets that everybody forgot because they were hurt.
the Mets
That's
suck.
just not going to happen.
Do you remember when they were
I like
co
it's the Mets
Cy
thing
Youngs?
though. You got to forget it's the Mets.
I don't think the Mets are going to Mets it up. Like, how do you Mets up this
You can't.
roster?
And I think they are going to keep getting people.
That's the
but
beauty of the Mets is that you say that.
No.
but they weren't supposed to Mets it up this year, and they did.
Okay, but I don't know. They just keep adding people. They're just gonna keep doing it, and I don't think that you can Mets this up if you just keep adding more and more. I think Lindor will settle in eventually. Like, there's no way he's gonna have another down year. He had an awesome second half, and then you've got the two best pitchers in baseball back to back. There's no way you can't possibly fuck that up. If you fuck that up, then you know what? The Mets deserve all the criticism in the world and whatever.
I mean, I have a good feeling they're gonna fuck it up.
there's no
I
way.
don't
think-
think. I think this is the year they don't fuck it up.
There's
I
just
mean,
no
maybe
way.
the Mets don't fuck it up. Maybe they just get shafted and everybody gets hurt. Like
The NL East isn't that good either.
I know, like the Braves did
mean, the
win the
Braves-
World
The
Series,
Braves made the playoffs,
but
with
they
88
made.
games.
I know. That's I'm with you on that. Other remaining free agents before we keep talking about stuff that has happened is Clayton Kershaw, like I said, Zach Greinke, Marcus Stroman, Freddie Freeman, who there's news that just came out that he's requesting like 180 million over how many years? Did anybody else see that?
6.
5 or 6.
Is that a possibility? Like, I guess. Hold on. Before
I don't know how
you
the
guys,
Braves
before you
haven't
guys
given
answer,
that.
if I keep going through this list and you have something to say about somebody, stop me and we'll talk about that. Because Freddie Freeman,
we talk
before
about
this
Freddie
season
Freeman?
started, we'll talk about Freddie Freeman. Before this offseason started, we were all under the assumption, we said it on air, that there is no shot he's not a Brave. Even at the World Series celebration parade, what's his fucking name? Dan Swanson went up and grabbed the mic and he was like pay Freddie. Like, they all want him. How can you not love him? He's fantastic. He's the best first baseman. That's not even negotiable in the MLB. And is it a possibility that he doesn't end up with with the Braves? And if that's the case, if there is a possibility, he has to be priority number one over, I think, a shortstop.
Dude, the Braves are not. The Braves are. If the Braves don't pay him, that would be the biggest mistake in ever.
What a mistake!
What a mistake!
I mean, it is. What the fuck are you doing? You can't shell out $30 million to him. I know they fucking robbed.
It's less than 30, right?
That'd be.
Is it exactly 30?
180 over 6.
They're paying Acuna
Yeah,
nickels and dimes for what he is.
But I mean, they already fucking raped Acuna and Ozzy on their contracts. Like those are terrible. Those are fucking terrible contracts for both of them.
30 over 6. It's 30 a year.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
5 or 6 years for 180 million should be a no-brainer for them.
Exactly.
That's what he's asking.
That's what I'm saying too. You saved so much money by locking up Acuna and Albies early. You have to shell out that money. He's the face of the franchise, and he has been for a long time.
If there's any possibility that he ends up not with the Braves, I'll put it this way: if he doesn't sign with the Braves, he has to be on the Yankees.
I disagree. I think that
I'm not saying where he will end up. I'm saying if there's a possibility that the Braves don't retain him and we don't sign him, that is more of a fuck up than everything to this point that we've already fucked up on.
I think the most likely scenario, if he's not a Brave, is he'd be a Dodger, especially with the Max Muncy news that just came out that he's going to miss the whole year, I think is what it was. And
he is just the perfect.
That's just such low hanging fruit right there. That's just
the perfect first baseman for Yankee Stadium, and he also hits for contact and clutch, and he's fantastic.
He's a competent fielder.
Wait, was he not?
See, no, he was.
That's why we're pissed off.
That's why I'm saying I don't think that he'll be a Yankee.
Agreed. Moving on, unless Murph, did you ever comment
I'm pretty
on
sure
it?
he's also from LA. I could correct me if I'm wrong on that, but I'm pretty sure I
Cole.
read that somewhere. Also, that doesn't make sense, but they're checking in on Matt Olson, so there is a chance that he's leaving.
checking in. Thank God they're checking in.
No, I'm saying the Braves are checking
checking
in. The Braves are checking in on Matt Olson.
That could be big.
Because we've been checking in on Matt Olson.
Right?
So
yeah. No, that's not news. But
Where would he play
the
this?
Braves are now checking in.
What do you mean? Where would he play?
No, Matt. On the condition that
Yeah,
Freeman leaves.
It's like a one or the other. They're making plans.
I did. Yeah.
It's Olson to replace Freeman, but at
where
least
Well,
it's a
that's
real
what I'm asking. I
possibility
didn't
that
hear what he said
you'd
before
play-
that.
You'd play catcher.
Everybody
Brandon.
still thinks he's coming back, but like going back to the Braves. But the fact that they're even checking up on Olson says there's something.
No, that's
there.
interesting. That is.
I mean, that's a huge
Just
hole
the
if he just
Dodgers,
leaves.
though,
and
that's a
then-
huge nightmare.
Fuck the Dodgers, dude. They're gonna blow it anyway.
I'm honestly not even focused on other teams at this point. I just want I am focused on other teams. That's not what I meant. But I am more focused on make a move. You can't even begin to focus on other teams at this point, or maybe I'm just so done focusing on other teams because they're all making good moves that we just need to get our ducks in a row and start making moves, and then we can start playing the measuring stick game and be like, all right, who had a better offseason? I don't even want to talk about what if Freddie Freeman goes to the Dodgers, then we have to keep up with them. We're not doing anything, so you can't even play the measuring stick game. I don't know. I think Freddie Freeman needs to be, if he's leaving, he has to be on the Yankees. Other free agents: Kenley Jansen, free agent; Nick Castellanos, free agent; Kyle Seager, Corey's brother, free agent; Michael Conforto, free agent;
Can we
Trevor
talk about
Rosenthal.
Conforto?
Conforto is definitely one that I would like to talk about as well, Murphy. Good stop there. So
'Cause-
what do you want to say on that?
I mean, I think when you look at the Yankees right now, obviously we're talking about a shortstop and first base, and there's a lot of good-looking names there. But if you think about actual position needs, I think center fielder is probably the biggest one, if not catcher. And Conforto seems like a decent option there because Aaron Hicks is
Dead.
good, not great when he's healthy, and he's
Aaron Hicks is
not
terrible.
healthy.
I never want to see him
70%
play
of
again.
the time.
Aaron
I'm
Hicks is
so
dead.
Well, then,
tired.
right now it's him or Florial.
I'm so
basically, or
fucking
Gardner.
tired of people sucking Hicks off for being good in the fucking Dominican League. Gary did awesome in the Dominican League last year, and look what he fucking did this year. Like he does every year. I that's not a surprise.
That's our starting catcher right now. Apparently, they just tendered him. So
that's what pisses me off. You won't spend money on any of your positional needs, but you'll give that motherfucker $8 million a year.
I think here's what pisses me off even more is that I saw this on Twitter from somebody, but saying how like in
No
the
free ad statement. Don't say who it was.
oh yeah,
I saw some Twitter.
I saw someone on Twitter. I definitely learned that. No, I'm just kidding. Anyway, like when when the Yankees were doing terrible, and then Hal Steinbrenner came out in public and said, "Hey, it's not Boone, it's not Cashman, and it's the players that need to step up." And then that was his big speech. It was like, "I stand behind my front office, I stand behind my coach. It's the players that need to step up because they're the ones that are playing." And then, okay, if that's what you want to say, then make some adjustments to the fucking roster. You have your biggest offseason moves so far have been to re-sign your coach, and then keep Cashman around, and then now it's going to be re-signing a subpar catcher who can't hit and can't field. So right now we've just run it back, so everything so far, and that's been our big moves. Even though everything you said beforehand about what was wrong, there's been no adjustments about what has actually been wrong.
If I hear, I swear to God, I'll go. Like Chandler says, I'll go to prison.
I will.
I'm not afraid to go
I will
to prison.
literally go to prison. I'll commit a crime, all of them. If I hear one more time at the end of this off season or whatever happens with the lockout, we believe in our guys, the roster we have on paper here. Like we believe in it. That's what there's no reason to believe in what we have. So if I hear that one more time, I'm literally gonna either jump off a building or commit a crime.
No, with the last 2 weeks I've had and my moving here, I will join you. I got nothing else to lose. If they go through this offseason with no fucking moves made at all, I mean, as of right now, they've done nothing but lose players. All you do is bitch about shortstop. That was your first press conference of the whole entire offseason was, hey, obviously shortstop's an area of need. Wink, wink. We're meeting with 2 agents, wink, wink, Correa, Seager. And then you go and release Velasquez and you trade Wade. And I know that neither of them are splashy shortstops, but those
were shortstops.
They're the only 2 shortstops on the fucking 40-man roster. They're the only 2 shortstops on the roster, and you fucking got rid of them, and you won't make a move. Everybody's flying off the board, and you're kicking the tires on Andrelton fucking Simmons and Isaiah fucking Kindler Falafel or whatever the fuck his name is. And those are your those are your 2 fucking moves? What do you do? Like at that point, you just keep Wade and Velasquez. Why?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't understand getting rid of Wade, Velasquez, even Clint with no corresponding move that was following it shortly after, if not before those moves happened. They should have been before. We should have gotten, Correa or Seager, and then it's like, okay, now it makes sense if you want to get rid of Wade or something. Like then Wade makes no sense to get rid of in my mind. I don't know why we're getting rid of him. He started how many games this year? Someone want to look that up real quick?
I got you.
He played everywhere.
He finally proved himself to be a serviceable player, and then
He
we get
actually
rid of him.
hit this year.
The first time you stick with him for so goddamn long, and the first time he's productive, you fucking trade him for like cash.
I guess that's
They
a
didn't.
sell
I don't
high
even think
moment,
they traded
but-
him. I think they just
No, they traded him to the Angels.
no, they DFA'd him.
Yeah, they DFA'd him.
Yeah, but then they traded him to the Angels.
Right.
Okay.
But like
For
that's
a
even
player
that's a
to be
little bit
named.
more of a kick
Yeah,
in the balls.
They did
than
it for a
just
player to
normal
be
trade.
named later. That's not selling
Exactly.
high.
That player to be named later better be Starlin Marte.
It's gonna be Ohtani.
It's gonna be Ohtani. Has to be Ohtani or Trout. Trout's value's low right now.
Oh yeah, big time.
Injury prone.
Injury prone. Stamp
When
that
does Ohtani get his extension?
when he. I don't know.
It's got
He
to. You got to
deserves
believe
it.
that's going to be $500 million. It's
He doesn't deserve it.
I agree.
going to
Overrated.
be $500 million. I
So
guarantee it.
one thing I also just want to note on just the Yankees. Obviously, this is the Yankees podcast. We're gonna keep noting things on the Yankees, but just what happened to
Tyler Wade games played. 103.
last season?
Yeah.
That's just ridiculous. He played 103 games. I guarantee you
That's absurd.
That's top 10 on the Yankees last year. I don't,
Oh my
even, I don't even
God.
need to look at
I
the
would,
numbers.
I would
I
agree.
would say top
That
5.
does count. That does count the games where he came in as defensive replacement. But
Yeah,
but the fact that he's coming in as
Still.
defensive replacement, that's still important.
It's telling enough because, hey, guess what? The guys you're also getting rid of are the only ones that can fucking field, too.
Yeah.
Like,
When we got rid of all those guys at once, where they were just like, I know it was like that's the time when you get rid of people, but when they named those big names, Tyler Wade, fucking Clinton Frazier, I really felt like the next tweet after that was gonna be like, okay, we signed these people now, or we fucking are in talks with, like, that's when I really thought she was about to go down. and then it's just been silent since then.
That was going to be clearing space
Yeah.
to get like a Matt Olson.
And everyone's like, "Ooh, we're clearing space. Watch out! Watch out, Yankees!"
Can I tell you one thing though? I know a lot of these moves that it's a lot of the topics right now we're talking about is like the moves we didn't make, but there are some moves on this board that I'm glad we didn't make.
For sure,
as
yeah.
a settlement, like I said this before, I'm glad we didn't miss out on Seager and go after Simeon because I thought that'd be a bad contract, and it may prove to be. They paid him a lot of money. He's getting older. He already moved to second base. That was a concern of mine. Glad we didn't settle and go for Simeon. Granted, there still are shortstops on the board. I'm glad we didn't get Javi Baez. That would have been a big time settle, and that would have been more of the same of what we have on the Yankees. That would have been another. He is the worst at plate discipline. He can't not swing at everything, and he strikes out more than Judge, more than Stanton.
Yeah, he was
that
the worst.
Would have been the
shortstop
worst
free
thing
agent.
possible. And if anybody of you out there wanted Javi Baez on the Yankees, you are wrong. And
Imagine him and Gallo back to back.
oh, I forgot we have Gallo too. We would have had
strikeouts
we would have
in a
had
row.
the 4 highest strikeout per 9, whatever you want to call it, strikeouts just cumulative last
Yeah,
season
back to back to
probably.
back to back.
The strikeout rate for those 4 guys is 1, 2, 3, 4 in the entire MLB, and I'm willing to bet my entire life on that. Which isn't worth much right now because the Yankees are taking it all away from me.
I'm glad I don't know if we ever were, but I'm glad we're not paying Max Scherzer $46 million.
I disagree.
$43 million.
I-
You would have given
that's
Max Scherzer
absurd.
$43 million.
No, that's a lot of money.
He's
but
38.
I don't know.
36.
I'm not in the camp of I don't know.
That's a
I think
ridiculous
If there's
contract.
somebody who deserves it, it's Max Scherzer.
He's not. He's
The
Also-
only
not
two
damn
people
good.
that have ever gotten that much are Trevor Bauer and Max Scherzer.
Sidebar on that. Can
Trevor-
I?
Trevor Bauer contract.
Can we
looks pretty
talk
good.
about how fucking annoying Trevor Bauer and Rachel Luba are? Have you seen this? How they spun all that about how Trevor Bauer just set the stage for this new market?
Yeah,
Scherzer's 37. Bauer was like 28. Fuck off.
set the
just
stage
trying
for
to
some
stage.
other things
He's just
too.
trying to stay relevant. But like, either way, he's the Mets are paying. Sorry, the Mets are fucking paying him $43 million, and that's more than the Pirates and the Orioles' entire team fucking
I
payroll.
did see that too. I mean, Trevor Bauer didn't set the stage for that. Max Scherzer's career resume of being one of the most dominant pitchers ever.
He's also
set the-
37.
set the stage for that.
He's 37. Their whole thing was like, look at us. It's pretty crazy how Bauer made these short-term, high AAV things. And it's just like, dude.
No, he's just
Like
not.
he
he's not gonna
invented
get-
that.
yeah, what
No,
are we going to
he's
do?
just
We're going to
not
give a
gonna get a
37-year
10-year contract.
We're going to give a
It's not like they
37-year-old
look-
a 13-year deal. Like, yeah, you could pitch till you're 50. Like, no. Like, go fuck yourself. You didn't reinvent the game.
It's not like the Mets looked at the Dodgers and were like, you know what? They were really onto something signing Bauer to a 3-year.
That worked out pretty well for them. Let's
worked out
emulate
great.
that.
Yeah, let me see.
Let's do that.
I just want to know what happened to this historical 2009 like spending spree that we were going to go on. Hopefully it still happens, but
There's no.
I mean,
it's
you
not
There's a
just-
lot of money to be spent for the free agency tomorrow.
But like, hold on, we were building up, and hopefully we did the classic move that Murphy said last time is that Cashman put off his final paper till the last second and got an A+, which didn't actually work out last time. But like, hopefully there's moves to be made at the deadline again, because they did do that at the deadline. So maybe he throws a buzzer beater, maybe it's Carlos Correa, and maybe we eat all of our words right now that we're talking about. But even so, we wouldn't eat our words because this is all warranted. Because, I mean, Cashman said in a press conference, shortstop is a priority of ours. Is it? Because Simmons and Kiner Falafel are the two options there. They said center field is a priority. Is it? Because
Haven't
how do
even
you let
checked
Starlin
in.
Marte go and didn't check in on anybody else? Haven't heard shit about Brian Reynolds. Haven't heard shit related to anybody. They said, we're not really set on catcher yet. We're not set on Gary Sanchez. Just tendered him $8 million to be a literal bump on a log.
While
useless.
Stallings got traded
While
for by the
Stallings-
fucking Marlins.
While Stallings, a good option and as
He
I
won a
think
Gold Glove.
John Heyman called him, a defensive wonderlock or whatever the fuck the term is. Didn't even check in on him, it seems. Didn't get him. Seems like would have been a great pick.
Another
that we could have
defensive guy.
One last thing, and we needed starting pitchers, and we either didn't check in on or haven't even been remotely close to signing and did not sign Max Scherzer, John Gray, Noah Syndergaard, Robbie Ray, Kevin Gausman, Justin Verlander, and Santi Alcantara. I don't understand how you can just All of those were the main 4 points of priorities that they said in the offseason, and not one of them have been. I mean, teams like the Marlins and the Angels and the
Rangers
Mets and the Rangers are making all these moves, and you're the goddamn Yankees.
The Rangers spent $500 million in 2 days.
Even the fucking
The Yankees
committed,
aren't even
sorry, whatever.
They're not
But-
even in on people. That's what's pissing me off. It's not like they're getting outbid at the last second. It's not like they're putting these contracts out here and getting turned down. They're not even fucking trying. Like when was the last time you saw Cashman's name in any rumor, or the Yankees on any rumor other than fucking Isaiah, whatever the fuck his name is? Never. Nothing. He's not doing anything. They're not doing a goddamn thing, and they're perfectly content with that. And that's why I don't think they're going to spend any fucking money, because if you were going to spend money, you weren't going to sit here and let all those guys. You're not going to let Robbie Ray go off the board. You're not going to let Gossman. You're not going to let Syndergaard. You're not going to... Who else is even... John Gray. That's the perfect example. His contract is what, like $12 million a year? You're going to tell me you can't afford to take $12 million a year on John Gray, who's not an ace by any means, but that's a damn good rotation piece. That's the exact guy that you're looking for. Rather than taking a $25 million a year flyer on Justin Verlander, which you were more than willing to do, you're not going to give $12 million to a younger, healthy John Gray who throws, what does he throw, fucking 100 miles an hour? He's a unit. The dude's like 6'7". You won't fucking give him a shot. You won't kick the tires like you love to do on everybody else on John Gray, but you'll give $25 million to 37-year-old Verlander coming off Tommy John. Like, what the fuck are you doing? It was like when Verlander decided to go back to the Astros, Cashman just threw in the towel. He's like, all right, well, fuck it. Nobody wants to come here. I'm going to Aruba. You guys have fun. Like,
other free agents that are still out there after Conforto, which, Murph, to circle back to that, I'd be interested in Conforto for sure. Conforto's been great for the last 4 years, it seems. He's been not a flashy player. He can clearly handle New York. I'm okay with it. I think he's a lefty bat too. I think it'd be a great signing, and I think that'd be great. But I don't think that's, like, if that's our main signing, it's got to be. I hope that is like a cherry on top on a nice off season. We put a bow on it and we call it an off season. But that may have to wait a little bit because it's going to be a lockout apparently, and we'll get into that in a little bit. Going down the list a little bit more, Trevor Rosenthal and Jarlton Simmons. And Jarlton Simmons was mentioned, and I said this before too, that, you know, I wouldn't be upset if we got Simmons. I said this before we had these, like, I'm not settling now. Like, this is documented. I said this because if we get Simmons, I didn't want to settle and get a Marcus Semien if we missed out on Seager or whatever, and we haven't missed out on Correa yet or Story, but you get the point. If we go for Simmons, I wouldn't be as upset, and I think that's the point we're at right now. We're past the point of like, oh, well, we're gonna have a great offseason, I'll be happy if. We're at the point of I won't be so upset if we do this. Like, I'm settling now in my, like, outlook for this. Like, there's not really much we can do, but there are some moves to salvage the offseason. So if we were to get Simmons, a good shortstop, we would have the shortstop defensive position locked up, which is something that we haven't had in a while. So when we go there, we have more money to spend elsewhere, being guys like Chris Bryant, guys like Freddie Freeman, guys like Matt Olson in a trade, and all that sort of stuff. And that also can be the same case if you go with the kind of Falefa who won a Gold Glove as well. If you go those routes, then you can piecemeal other great signings elsewhere. It doesn't necessarily need to be a shortstop. That's why I'm saying the pieces that could be potentially still a very good and salvageable offseason are there on the board. It's just a matter of, like, we haven't checked in on any of these people, and it doesn't seem like we're trying, and I don't see the Yankees doing anything of the sort. One more thing, Murphy. Like, my ideal offseason, and I'll pass it to you guys, with the current pieces that are still on the board, which is very doable, by the way. Get Simmons, and I'd be very excited about that.
Why do you want Simmons if we have Kiner Falefa?
Or Kiner Falefa. I think those two.
We already have him.
What?
What?
That we were just rumored to talk to Kiner.
I thought we were like, no, I didn't get breaking news. I thought we were like close to a deal, like enough where it's like just needed the details.
No, they were kicking the tires on him like every other low-grade fucking name out there.
So one of the two, I'd be cool with either one. And if that was the case, Murphy obviously wouldn't want Simmons anymore. But now we're at the point, those two I see on the same level as a defensive shortstop / third baseman. Kiner Falefa, I think, plays multiple positions, so that'd be cool too. But get one of those two, you save money there. you spend elsewhere on guys like Bryant or still a Correa, because if you put Correa at shortstop and you put Connor Falefa at third, that'd be fantastic. I don't know what you do with Gio, but you'd figure that out later. But my point being is you get defense for cheap, and then you have money to spend elsewhere, and then you can get a Rodon who's still on the board. Carlos Rodon, starting pitcher, just had a very good year from the White Sox. You can still go out and spend money on a guy like Freddie Freeman. Like that's who I'd circle on this list if it's possible to get, like we said before. You go ahead and you get Simmons or Connor Falefa, Freddie Freeman, Rodon, call it an offseason, add like a Chaz Rowe on the side just for depth. Like I'd be so okay with that. Do I think it's going to happen? Absolutely not.
I don't know. I think the only way, I think shortstop is such a big deal here. I'm not on board with the stopgap. You can't bank right now. Essentially what they're doing is they're banking on Volpe to turn out to be a $400 million shortstop at 20 years old. You can't put that on a 20-year-old and expect him in 2 years to be producing at what you know you're getting in Seager, what you know you're getting in Correa, in Story, and all these other high-profile guys. It's like any other thing. You pay if you really and truly are trying to win now, and you think you have that core. Then you go and you get the guy that's going to help you now, and then you figure it out down the road. You make Volpe play his way into that lineup, and then you go from there. Like, having too many good players is a good thing. You don't look for 4 or 5 years down the road and like, well, I don't really want to risk being too good this year because what if, or risk giving whoever that contract because what if 5 years down the road, we're too good and somebody's not going to get their playing time. You can't look that far in the road.
Yeah.
So many things can happen. I mean, like I said, I use this example all the time. When Jorge Mateo was in our farm system, we thought he was going to be the next fucking Derek Jeter. Derek Jeter's retiring. It's Jorge Mateo's spot. He's going to roll in there. He's fast. Defensive wizard. He can hit. And now he's a 4A player, basically. He's bouncing between the pros and AAA with the fucking Padres at like 28. So, and I don't think Volpe's that guy, and I don't think he's going to be a bust. I don't think that you can pass up on the greatest shortstop class of all time when you have a glaring hole at shortstop just because 3 or 4 years down the road you may have a 20-year-old who pans out to be that $400 million guy. There's a reason that $400 million contracts aren't given out every day. It's because they're fucking hard to find. You don't get guys like that. Like, you have to have the pedigree all the way up, and then you have to sustain it once you get there.
And they were saving up for this shortstop class, and
Supposedly.
now what?
That's the bottom line, is that you don't even have a shortstop on the roster right now. Because at this point, Gleyber Torres, you can't tell me he's a shortstop. He's not.
Be Gio, I guess.
And there are 6 world-class shortstops in free agency, and you're telling me you can't get one?
Dude, Volpe hasn't even played double
Now there
A
are
yet.
2.
Literally.
Like,
Dude.
how can you? There's no way that can be the mindset to bank on somebody. Even if he is, like, I don't care how good somebody is, you cannot plan that far in advance because he hasn't even played double A yet. Like, he could literally, I hope he doesn't, but he could literally just shit the bed in double A and triple A and just fall off.
So if you're going to do that, here's the thing. If you're going to go that route and you want to bank on your prospects being the future and you don't want to spend money on anybody, don't half-ass it. Rebuild the team then. If you want a full youth movement and you want to go all prospects and you don't want to spend money, then don't go fucking make the Gallo trades.
That's
don't,
the thing, though.
They're
trying to sell tickets. They're not trying to win.
Exactly.
They're trying to spend enough that gets everybody to come in and make the most revenue. I mean, I think Tommy Smokes tweeted this out, which everybody's been talking about before. He's not the only one that's ever pointed this out. But, like, when you look back to 2005, Yankees payroll was $205 million. Their revenue that year was $277. That's dangerously close to breaking even, which is great. That's what you want to see when you're going out and spending fucking money.
2005 with $200 million, that's a lot of fucking money.
Inflation. Come on now.
My God.
That's basically $1 billion right there. So then now the current Yankees payroll is $210 million. That's around the obvious salary cap, which, by the way, Howe wants to lower. So that's a good news, too. And the last full season in 2019, their revenue was $683 million. The current franchise net worth franchise worth is $7 billion. They're literally making more money, and that profit margin is, I mean, that was nearly, what, $350 million versus only around $65 million before. The payroll is staying the same, and the revenue is going up and up and up and up and up, and they're not spending more money. And they're actually lobbying to lower the salary cap to make it more fair for the luxury tax, to make it more fair for the rest of the league. Whether or not we both think that that's a thing that we should do, that's ridiculous, and it's just crazy to see the historical numbers there. It proves that they're literally just trying to be good enough to make the playoffs, so they get the playoff money, the playoff TV deals, and they sell tickets. And it's just ridiculous that they even thought to cry poor for one missed season when they make $750 million in a given year.
They are getting $0 from me next year if they don't make a big move.
I think this right here is a pivotal offseason for them, for the common Yankees fan. Like, obviously us and the people who are sitting here listening to this are diehard Yankees fans. They're still going to watch.
I'm not going to go to a game, though. It changes a lot.
I'm still going to go to games.
I'm still going to go to games.
I honestly don't know.
Well,
I
here's
disagree.
the thing. Here's the thing where it changes. 2 years ago, I was flying in from Florida to come to, midweek games and missing stuff to go out of my way to come to these games. If this was the case now, I don't know that I would do that. I don't know that I would put off life things and fly 1,000+ miles to go watch the Yankees when it's so apparent that they don't care about winning a championship. They care about winning. I'm not saying they don't care about winning, because
I don't think they do.
I mean, that's kind of goes hand in hand.
no, they want to win.
They care about winning enough.
They care about winning enough. That's what it is. They don't.
That they can trick us into thinking that they are going to win it all, and they get our hopes up, and they fucking rip it apart. That's why I always say that spring training is the best, because all of our hopes are high, and we're ready to have our hearts broken again. They make a couple moves that make you think that the team's good and primed for a nice playoff run. You still have the high payroll and all that. You still got guys like Judge and Stanton, and then you get the hype videos that gets put out there, and you're like, wow, maybe we do have a chance. And then we make the playoffs, barely, and then we come crashing down, and that's the definition of insanity, is going through the same thing over and over again and expecting different results. And I'm gonna keep doing it. I'm gonna do it again.
So am I.
We're gonna go down to Tampa, and we're gonna be like, you know what?
Well, Tampa's fun because it's like a whole
No,
trip.
but even after the trip, we're gonna be
If
there.
the trip happens, there's gonna be a lockout.
I really hope
God
that's
damn
not
it.
the case.
That's a
But
good point.
I hope the lot. Would you guys want to talk about the lockout real quickly?
I want to talk about how everything you just said is a little dramatic.
It's not dramatic at all.
That's not dramatic.
It's
If
not
they sign
dramatic at all.
Correa tomorrow, are you still gonna say
They're not
that?
going to sign Correa.
Well, Murphy.
different,
That's
Murphy.
like
This is all
saying if they win a
contingent.
World
I'm-
Series
what do you mean?
tomorrow, are we going to
What
be
are you
upset?
talking about?
This
There's
is
a
all-
deadline tomorrow for free agency. Free agency is not over yet. Maybe
what
the
have
reason
they
they haven't
shown
pulled
you?
the trigger on any of them.
Then if that's
Where
the
else
case,
do you
if
think
that's the
Correa's
case,
Correa's going to sign somewhere tomorrow? He's not going to wait until the
the
lockout.
lockout's tomorrow.
And where else is he? Yeah,
the lockout is in 50 minutes.
No, it's not. It's Thursday night.
Are you
It's in
sure?
26 hours. Yeah.
That's not. Oh.
The lockout
That'll be
begins on
26
Thursday.
if I'm
Wednesday at
saying
11:59.
the
They're
current
20
state of the
24 hours.
Yankees, if no move, if they do make these moves, like I said, there's moves to be made on the board. Everything I'm saying right now, we take back. But if based on the current
Based on
rumor-
those numbers you just read, what indication do you have that they're going to go tack on all this extra payroll? The payroll hasn't changed in 16 years. Why would they do it now when their profit margins are at an all-time high and we haven't even heard anything? Yeah, I mean, the proof is right there. The numbers are right in front of you. What indication is there that they're going to tack on an extra 30, 50, 70 million dollars in payroll if they haven't done it in 16 years?
Also, Murphy, it's just seems like they're trying to find excuses to not make that sequential move coming after. I saw this tweet also that speaks for all of us, and I've been thinking this as well. Is can't sign Harper because we have 6 outfilders, and then when it comes time to have outfielders, then where are the outfielders? There's always an excuse not to make the big splash, just so they can line their pockets and make more profits, and then you can't pay Machado because you secretly love Arenado, and then you're gearing up for the
Then you
big
can't pay
shortstop class
Arenado
coming up.
because-
You can't pay Arenado because whatever, I don't know why, and then you can't sign a shortstop now because you love the kids in the system that are coming
They
up.
look a year ahead.
They look a year ahead every time, but I don't even think it's
To a
looking
fault.
at. I don't think it's looking a year ahead. I don't think it's naive that is the reason that they're looking a year ahead. I think it's just they're pushing off the responsibilities so
Well, I think-
the angry mob doesn't come after them. It's because you know what? They're right. That actually is a really good class coming up next year with Story, with Correa, with Seager, and all that. You know what? That would be the smart thing to wait till then. But then when that year comes around and they don't even do it, obviously, if they get Correa, this all changes. They get Story, this all changes. But that's why I don't think they're going to do that, Murphy, is because they've done it in the past. They've lied to us and said next year we're not going to spend now because next year we're going to do this, and then they don't do this.
Well, this year I think it's going to be a little different because they're not going to promise anything for the next offseason. But where the promise is that they're going to promise some other move where we're not going to need a hitting shortstop and we can use Kiner Falefa or a Simmons to hold over shortstop and tell these other guys come up later on, as you just said. Like,
This is where
basically I think we're not we shouldn't be freaking out until this
The
time.
only move we made was bringing back Jolie, and now we have a fucking new third base coach who was the old Mets coach.
Well, we've also tendered contracts to Herman, Voit, and Andujar and Sanchez.
Oh, great. Voigt's back.
Wait,
That's going to be really
Gio.
helpful because you clearly ruined a relationship with him. He probably doesn't want to be with us. And, I mean, what does that mean? Like, he's just going to be a DH again?
I don't know what that means.
He's just gonna
You
ride
can't.
it.
What are you
He
going to
won't
do?
even be a
Not
DH.
tender
You're
him?
gonna have to trade him.
Yeah.
That's it.
He better be in an Olsen deal.
It's either that or you have a disgruntled Luke Voigt as your starting first baseman, and that's on it. That wouldn't surprise me at all. They released Chris Gittens, who was the only other first baseman like coming up in the system. So first base is a glaring weakness right now, and they just don't even. Right now, it looks like they don't care. And I'm totally with you. If they go out and they make these moves, I'll be the first person to tell you that I'm a jackass and I was totally wrong and overreacted. But
you're not, though, because...
But because it's been so long.
you're
The
not- you're
only
not.
move they've made noteworthy in the last few years has been Cole. Outside of Cole, when was the last time you got the warm fuzzy about a move? Tanaka? Was that the big contract they gave out before Cole?
I felt good about the Stanton deal. I felt awesome.
They
about
didn't
it.
sign Stanton.
Looking back
yeah,
at it
the
right
trade
now,
doesn't matter.
Stan
That's
is
not what I
like
mean.
They traded for Stanton, and the
Stanton's a great
Marlins are
deal.
eating half the contract. I'm saying, when was the last time before Cole, the Yankees went out on the free agent market and got a big marquee name? Tanaka, 2014 is what comes to my mind.
Then, like, CC Sabathia.
That was 2009.
Yeah, I know.
That's what I'm saying.
The only other one I can think of would be Didi, but that wasn't even a big deal at the time. Like that just panned out.
Didi
really
was
well.
a
That was
minor
more
leaguer.
of a DJ thing. Yeah,
Didi-
that was more of like
yeah.
a DJ
Yeah,
deal. if
DJ,
anything.
like the diamonds in the rough, but
I mean,
the Yankees. This may be a weird analogy, but they
here we go.
this is gonna be out there, but they are kind of remind me of like Alex Moran from Blue Mountain State, who was the backup quarterback for years.
Can you hit that button over there, the one that mutes his mic?
No, he's like the Yankees are trying to be good enough just to stay relevant and like just good enough to hang out with the cool kids and just good enough to party, but then don't actually put in the effort to go the extra mile and like become a starting
I
quarterback.
understand
And
what you're saying.
I thought it sounded pretty good in my head.
Unmute his mic. The rest of the moves that are out there. So there are obviously there's two tiers the way I see this right now. There's the stars that are still left in Correa, in Freeman, in Story, Bryant. Those names that can still Rodon that will. Those are the names that you look at these like the Yankees be like, okay, you did exactly what you just said. You went out, you did it. There's also a bunch of like accessory names that I still would really like. Guys like, I mean,
Chris Taylor.
Say it.
Chris
Thank
Taylor.
you, Chandler.
No,
Chris
I
Taylor.
was gonna say Chris Taylor.
But they're not in on Chris Taylor. That's the thing too. The list of teams that are in on Chris Taylor. Guess who's not fucking
Not
there?
necessarily always the end all be all. But like,
Cashman's never really gotten anybody that we've really been in on, except for Cole.
he's usually
Like, I feel like
in the
those other
dark
ones
a
he's-
little bit. So that's why I'm not
Exactly.
gonna
That's
read
kinda
too
how he
deeply
goes.
into the like kicking the tires and all that.
How is he in the dark though? That's what
I
I'm
don't
saying.
care. This
When
is
was-
all speculation.
Well,
but I'm
that's
just
what
saying,
the whole thing is. But real quick, because I'm actually curious about that. Where does he get this? Like Cashman works in the weeds. He's a ninja.
He's not.
We don't do anything. We don't make any big moves. He had a big trade deadline this year with Gallo and Rizzo to save face because if the Yankees miss the playoffs, then he'd lose his fucking job. So he had one good trade deadline, but the Cashman's a snake, always working in the weeds. What the fuck has he done? What is his sneaky move? The only big move he's made in recent history, other than the fucking Cole deal, other than the trade deadline.
Glaber move was pretty good.
But the only thing he did other than the trade deadline this year was the Cole deal. And from the minute the offseason started, it was like, Yankees in on Cole. Cashman wants Cole. They like interviewed Cashman. He's like, yeah, we want Cole. That's the only big one. And he was dead set on it from the get-go. Where does he get this reputation?
I don't know.
It's because he signs the kind of guys like the DJs of the world and the DDs of the world and like, those people that nobody really, they're afterthoughts, and then they come in. And Chris Taylor in this offseason is an afterthought. And he just kind of fits that mold to me. And he plays center field and shortstop. Like, I don't see how we're not.
And he's great in the playoffs,
at
too.
this point. Like, he seems so obvious to me that.
He's the better version of Wade.
I don't get it.
He would have been that move that should have happened before releasing Wade.
Yeah, or immediately after. He's a little bit better of a hitter and a little bit slower on the base pass. Otherwise, pretty much the same.
So let me throw a few names out there, and I want to see how you get a temperature check on those names, and then I think, unless you guys have anything else, I feel like we can wrap this one up pretty soon. Let me throw the names out first.
Is this if we want them or if we think we can get them?
Well, would like them. I think thinking you can get them, we can get any of these people. I've seen the P&Ls. We got the money. Can get anybody. Will we? That's a different story. If we were the GMs, would we go after these guys?
Okay.
Anthony Rizzo. I know this depends, Murph, but Anthony Rizzo without depends, would you like it if you heard tomorrow that they retained Anthony Rizzo?
I'd be okay with it if we retain Anthony Rizzo because I feel like that means we've exhausted all options on Freeman and Olsen.
Agreed.
I would not be upset.
I wouldn't be mad, but I wouldn't be excited.
I liked Rizzo. I think
Rizzo would be settling. I think Rizzo is worst case scenario.
No, I
don't think it's a bad worst case scenario.
I agreed. I would be very happy if we brought Rizzo back. I think a full year of Rizzo would be great. I think another year of the fans
It'd be
loving
Rizzo
him
and Voit
would be great.
Year,
It'd be Rizzo and Voit, but it would be Rizzo. Everybody knows that. And then, we'll figure it out. Somebody's going to get hurt, and then it'll just be Voit will be the DH again. But I think Rizzo, obviously, with the combination of he would be the bow on the offseason. I don't want him to be here's the offseason, the big move we made. We brought Rizzo back. Was it 2016? It's not. So that's not.
Yeah,
as
it should
exciting.
be. And we brought Rizzo back.
Yeah, we
did this,
boys.
and
if
we
I was
brought
in
Rizzo back.
if I was in the ice, like Captain America, Steve Rogers, and I woke up after the offseason, and you said to me hey, we got Rizzo. Oh yeah, and we got Correa. It wasn't just that. That'd be cool with. Hey, we got Rizzo, and hey, we also got Chris Bryant, Kiner Falefa. It's a complete offseason, and Rodon too. That'd be great. Another name, obviously, I think we're all in the same boat. Chris Taylor, I think nobody opposes to going after Chris Taylor and overpaying him.
No, I would love Chris Taylor.
Okay.
It fills so many holes.
We kind of breezed past this one last time, Castellanos. I think we mentioned it on the show before.
I brought that one up. I love Castellanos as a player. He doesn't have a fit, but...
Two other free agents that are available right now, Ronald Torreyes and Mike Tauchman. Thoughts on a reunion with the Sock Man and Big Toe? Didn't realize that those two actually go, I was going to say hand in hand, but foot and foot. Foot and sock. Bad one.
Honestly, that would not surprise me at all if those were the two big signings. Those two and Brett Gardner.
You know what I would love? I was about to say, you know what I would love? I would love if hopefully if bigger moves came afterwards, but I almost hope, just so I can watch Yankees Twitter, that the first move, let's say you're guaranteed that we're going to get Correa in after a Torreyes move is made. I just want to see Torreyes be the first move, so everybody can freak the fuck out and be like, this is who we're waiting for. And then it's an hour later we get Correa, but I just think that'd be so funny to watch the internet blow up.
I think it would have been hilarious if yesterday, when all the frenzy of shortstops were going, if right in the middle, right after Seager, 10 minutes after it, the Yankees signed Brett Gardner to a 1 year, $8 million deal with a player option.
He's coming back, right?
Oh, my God.
100%.
He's your opening day center fielder.
I think he's going to play another 145 games this year.
Minimum.
Absolute minimum.
He
Brett
played
Gardner's hitting
145
third
last
in
year, or did
opening
he
day
just make
lineup.
that up?
What?
Did he actually play 145 last year, or
Yeah.
is that just like
Close
that
to
was like
that's
extra
true.
what he played?
I don't know if that's the exact number, but it was in the 140s.
Right.
Yep.
Jeez. I'm thinking of something though, and I didn't really mention it before.
Please do share.
Carlos Correa is going somewhere within the next 24 hours. If
You
it's
really
not
think
the
that?
Yankees, it's basically like the NBA free agency deadline. He's not going to not have a team going into the lockout. There's no way. So
think he
where
might.
else is he going to go?
I don't.
Give me one
yeah.
other team that makes sense.
Cardinals, the Dodgers.
I mean,
Cardinals, I'll give you that. The Dodgers can't afford him. There's no way.
the Mets.
do you mean the
ju-
Dodgers
Mets
can't
just
I don't
lost-
even think the Cardinals can afford him.
the Mets just lost Javi Baez. I know they have. They got.
They have Lindor. They don't.
know they have
they're not.
Lindor,
And
but-
they can't afford him.
$700 million in shortstops.
That would be really funny.
And they can't afford him either. Maybe
I
the
disagree.
Dodgers, but even the Dodgers don't need him. They have Trey Turner.
Gavin Lux. I don't know. I mean, it
I think
seems
the
like
Yankees
he,
make the most sense. He's not going to Detroit anymore.
Not
it
going
seems
to-
like he
not
fell
going to
right in our
Texas.
laps, but it doesn't. The move is so obvious and it's so perfect, and I still don't think they make it.
He
I
could
really
go
and
back to
truly
Houston.
that he could go back
Which
to
would
Houston.
absolutely-
He
suck.
declined their offer. What's he going to just go back and be like,
Well,
oh,
their
yeah,
initial
no,
offer
just
was a
kidding,
slap
I'll
in the
take it.
face. That
I
was
mean,
to
yeah, but
set
you
the
still-
market of shortstops,
Yeah.
and then people were like, "Yeah,
No,
fuck that."
I'm not saying it was a good offer, but like they're not going to give him any more, I don't think, after that.
I mean, with the way it's shaping up,
I'd literally jump off a bridge if he went to the Blue Jays, and then they shifted Bo
if
Bichette
he
to
went
like
to the
second.
Blue Jays, then
All right, we just
I'm-
give up the whole season.
I'd jump off a bridge.
No,
just
I'm
give
a
up.
pro tennis fan. If he goes to the Blue Jays, I'm done with baseball.
They play tennis at like 2 a.m. Don't they?
That's fine. Whatever. I watched fucking the Yankees blow a 7-run lead to the Angels at 2 a.m. I'll go watch fucking some Australian guy play
Actually,
tennis.
the Angels would be kind of. No, they can't afford. They probably wouldn't pay him because they're going to have to pay
They have to
Ohtani.
extend Ohtani. Speaking of which, are we gonna extend Judge?
Oh, this is my favorite thing is when people are talking about our payroll, the Yankees payroll, and they go, so you've already got Stanton and Cole on the books and Judge's extension. Judge's extension is not a foregone conclusion. I don't think they've even offered him one, and I don't know that they're going to
When is he?
I think they're
a free
going
agent?
to.
after this season.
So he's arbitration.
I think they're
He
going
was
to.
arbitration last year for like $8 million, right?
I think
He's
like
probably going to be
28
9
now.
or 10 this year.
Doesn't that double to like 16?
No, it's per year. He's
No,
not. he's not gonna be
he had a
28.
massive arbitration deal last
It
year.
was 8, I think.
There was no way because
it was
Mookie
8.
Betts broke the record with like 22 in arbitration.
I thought it was 8, but
I thought he was
This
like
year,
17.
this year he might be expecting 2022, but I don't think he. I think 8 million
Are you talking about
was
Judge?
the number.
there's no
Judge.
reason not
Last
to
year.
extend Judge. This is a conversation for right now, honestly, but there's no reason. I think we'll just that's point blank. There's no
Well,
reason not to extend
they have
Judge.
to spend money in this free agency before they start spending money in the next one.
Yeah,
like, in
Judge's
terms of
arbitration is
extending
17 million.
Oh, okay.
I just don't. I don't know.
For this year, upcoming.
Yeah.
I was like, so the prior year
Yeah,
he made 8.
previously though.
I don't know.
So that's exactly it. It doubled.
Yeah,
Whatever.
It usually
it
doubles.
was probably 8.5,
Yeah.
and then now it's 17.
I really and truly, with the way that things have gone, I don't. Why have you not done it by now? That if you're not going to make any other moves in the offseason, that should have been priority one, and it should have
Because if
probably
you-
been priority one anyway.
I'm really pissed
Because
about
this
Marte,
was
I'm not gonna lie.
this past season was one of his first that he was healthy for most of the year. So if you extend him last offseason or in the beginning of last year and then he gets hurt for 2 years, then it's
So,
terrible.
are you
Whereas
just
why
gonna
not wait
wait
and
out
see
one
how
more
his
year?
health?
No, it has to happen before.
Yeah,
this
then
year.
it
So you're
makes
just going to
sense
let him hit
because
free
then
agency?
well no
you
no
have
it's
to
not that
to
he
save
said he wants to be
face.
a Yankee the rest of his career. It's not like you have to lock
So
him
if
up
they
before
don't
he
lock him
changes
up
his
this
mind.
year, then the feeling's not mutual, and then
Yeah.
that's a slap in the face.
Well, this
to
year
him.
they're going to. But
No,
like
I mean
You think
before
they're
the
going
year
to
starts.
this offseason?
well, I
They
think
have
over
to.
the course of the next year they're going to.
This is his last offseason before free agency.
You think they're going to do like
Right.
a mid-season extension?
No.
yeah, that's possible.
No, the Yankees don't do mid-year extensions.
They
Regardless,
can't. Well, I don't think anybody's really. Is anybody really offering extensions right now with the lockout and the CBA?
Yeah, fucking Buxton just signed a $100 million extension.
literally today.
That's a good point, actually. Yeah.
If they
Oh, yeah,
wanted
maybe,
to
I don't
extend
know.
Aaron Judge, they would have done it already. That's what I'm saying. Like, how do you not even make him a competitive offer? I think what's going to end up happening is they will when all this lockout shit's said and done, they're gonna offer him an extension, and it's gonna be way off, like a slap in the face. And
It's gonna be team friendly. It's probably gonna be like a Acuna or
But
Albies
that's the thing. It
deal.
cannot. He will not take a team friendly deal because
Why not?
he's. What do you mean? Why not? Because he's proven that he can stay healthy. Finally, he's playing like an MVP caliber player, and he's older. He's not going to take a team friendly deal because the deal with Albies and Acuna and all these and Tatis and all these guys. Maybe not Tatis. He took a lot of money, but like Albies and Acuna, they're taking a lot of years. Just because they're super young. They're 22 and they're getting that deal and they're guaranteeing themselves money because they're really young and they have a really, really high, they can still sign contracts after that. Judge has been arbitration.
He's 29.
He's not making a lot of money. He's 29. That's why why the fuck would he take a team friendly deal? He's a good guy. That doesn't fucking matter. He's got to pay the bills. His girlfriend goes out and gets speeding tickets and shit. He's got to pay for
That
that.
wasn't a speeding ticket.
Does it Dewey?
Yeah.
The Dewey.
Dewey.
That's a lot of money. So he's not, arbitration ain't going to cut it. She does that twice a year. So I'm just saying. he's got
It's the average cost of a DUI, like 12 grand. So you got to figure he's got to at least get a
Depends what
$24,000
state she's
bump.
in the bail. I don't know. But he's not going to take a team friendly deal. And I think since he's been outspoken about him returning, there was two things. One, the feeling of him being an injury prone player, which he, at least for this season, has put to rest, and he's put together one great year, and he's been not really injury prone. The other years, like we've always mentioned, have been fluke injuries. So like, but you can't even wait till next year to see like, oh, let's see if he does it again, because then that's a slap in the face, like I said before. It has to happen this offseason. I don't think a mid-year contract extension is going to happen. It has to be this offseason because then that shows that you're prioritizing him as the next Yankees captain and best player on the team. Has to happen. Has to happen.
I just don't, like I said, I don't think it's set in stone. I really don't even know if they offer him one, and if they do,
Then why didn't you trade him, or why don't you trade him then?
because they don't.
Because you can
The
get one of the
front
best
office
players
is
in the league for
incompetent.
17.
The front office is incompetent. There is no direction, and that's what pisses me off. Is because I see people get upset and they're like, "Well, Yankees fans are stupid. They just want them to sign everybody." No. Pick a fucking direction and go with it. If you want to sign players and get better, do that. If you want to rebuild from the ground up and you want to wait for Volpe and Peraza and Pariah and all these other guys to come up and be your next core, then do that and trade your other ones, stock the farm, and rebuild it. Don't just sit in limbo to sell tickets and then fuck yourself on every front. Pick a direction and go with it. Right now, the Yankees are just treading water just to tread water. There is zero direction. Zero. None.
I agree that there's no direction.
They have no plan.
Either that or they have everything planned out and they're just going to sign the people that they want, which is going to be a Correa and an Olsen, and that's not going to happen. So, yeah, they have no fucking plan.
They have no plan. There is no plan. The Yankees have zero. Nothing.
Do you genuinely think that tomorrow there's not going to be one deal of substance?
For
I
the
would not
Yankees?
be surprised. I really would not be surprised.
No.
I put a
How do
fo-
you
I
not
put
go
a-
after Wilson Contreras today?
I don't know. I put a 40% chance that we make a move.
I would say 10.
I think 40 is decent. I still would take the over on 40. I think that's a good way to put it.
I take 10%.
I feel like
I don't think they're going to do anything tomorrow.
I think they're going to at least put in an offer to Correa tomorrow.
I mean,
You think they're going to get Correa?
I think they're going to put in an offer for Correa tomorrow.
What, fucking 1 year, $11 million?
That'd be amazing, but no.
so wait, so that means like, so yeah, if the lockout happens and then they don't fucking play until fucking spring
See, that's the thing.
training,
Is that I guess
we have
I
the
don't
same
really
team
know what happens
minus
if they
good people.
Yeah.
if players don't sign before the lockout. I don't really know how that works, but I'm basically under the understanding that it's like a free agency deadline tomorrow.
No, if they don't sign before the lockout, then it's just everything is put on pause, and then we pick up exactly where the offseason would be. We just basically moved December 1st from December 1st to X date.
Right, but that's the thing. It's like X date. So are you going to really be trying to make those deals if the season suddenly picks up in April or in May?
Well, the thing is, if it picks up in April or May, they're going to pick up where they left off. They're not just going to be like, all right, go out there and go. You're still going to have the offseason. You're still going to have the winter meetings. Well, it's fucking spring meetings, whatever they are, and all these other things. So
All right.
I think
so maybe it won't go.
there's just too
tomorrow,
many big names to go tomorrow. There's no
but
way.
that's what you think, but then you look at the names that have gone in the last 2 days, and it's like, all right, maybe.
That does worry me that all of the names did fly off the board, which that's like if you needed another indicator that a lockout's going to happen, the fact that all of these teams are just like rushing to make these moves before this deadline, it's like, hey, everybody's planning on both the player side. The players are accepting these deals, and the teams are extending these deals. It seems like it's mutually known that we're getting these deals done before the lockout because there will be a lockout.
No, the lockout's like as good as it might as well. The only thing that is holding it back is one day. Like it's going to happen.
I know. I'm just saying if you needed one more indicator, that's a clear indicator.
Yeah.
The
Yeah,
two
that's true.
sides that will be negotiating for a new CBA are trying to get deals set in stone before this nightmare happens. So.
Did you see the report today, which I think just put the final nail in the coffin on the lockout, that they used 2 different balls based on like the TV ratings of the games?
Wait,
like,
what?
Like Yankees Red Sox games, they would use juice balls so they'd get more viewership, and then they would use dead balls and like Tigers Royals.
Yeah, I mean, we like knew that just by watching the fucking game. Like,
But
I
it was
not surprised.
It was confirmed today that
I
they were
never
just
thought that
rotating
actually.
balls in and out with like different weights and everything like that, and not telling
It's
anybody.
ridiculous.
And that came up, and that's just the final nail in the cover. Rob Manfred's fucking incompetent. He's dumb as shit. We all
That's
know that.
as
He's the
close-
worst commissioner in any sport. But
That's like fixing games almost. Like at
it
a
is.
certain point.
it's directly impacting TV ratings and everything like that. I mean,
And it's inflating stats for big market teams. If you're playing those big games. Like
Yeah.
and deflating stats for
that
no
really
other teams.
I didn't read that, so like I don't really know, but
Let me see
I
if
feel
I
like
can
that should be a huge scandal in the sports world.
It
if that's
should
really
be,
what happened.
but I just don't know that they. Let me see if I can pull up the exact tweet so you can see it.
While you're pulling that up, I think it's funny because we are going to get fucked by. I mean, Kevin Gosman is going to be fantastic against us.
Mhm.
Nobody's talking about it, but we already talked about that Kluber is going to be a Cy Young and absolutely blank us every single time he's out there and strike out 27. But Odor is going to hit a minimum.
Oh my God.
He's hitting
A
45
minimum.
home
He's
runs.
on the Orioles. He's going to get run out there. He is going to hit a minimum of. We play 19 times a year. He's going to at least hit 19 home runs.
He's gonna murder us.
All right, you
Over
ready?
or under 2 grand slams for Odor.
Over.
Let's set the over under for the year.
In the
have to-
year
you
or
have to get
against
on-
the Yankees?
No, against
against
the Yankees. Sorry.
Over under for the year on home runs. This is 19 is obviously not going to happen. A real over under for home runs I'll set right now.
4.5.
8.
Over under 4.5 seems fair, and I would take the over.
I would
4.5
also
is
take
good.
the over. All right, you ready for the quote?
Homers against a single team. How many did Glaber hit that one year against the Orioles?
Like,
think that
I
was
think he
like
had
13.
18.
That was like that was
my
that was
God,
crazy.
that
No,
is
insane.
it was insane. It
It
was
was
insane.
like,
almost won a game actually. Now.
Yeah, but I think over under. Let's put it at 5.5, and I would still take the over.
I would take it too.
All right.
You guys wait. Hold
Nah,
on.
I'll
Before we
take
move
the
on, you would take the under on that.
5.5 for Odor against the Yankees.
Under.
Yeah.
Okay, then I'll stop it there. I was gonna say if we're all across the board, I was gonna keep raising it and see where the point
That's
is.
about red stop.
Yeah.
Right
But you
there.
can still take the over 5.5.
Yeah, but 6.5 I wouldn't.
Under.
I'd take under 6.5.
I'm over 5.5. I think it's gonna be exactly 19. It's gonna say 6, but
All right, here's the quote. Send a bouncier baseball, lighter baseball, whichever flies more to primetime series, he told me, listing off marquee matchups like Yankees, Red Sox, and Mets, Phillies. Then he suggested send more dead baseballs to Texas versus Seattle, or Detroit versus Kansas City. No one's going to bat an eye.
who said that?
That was like theoretical. Or
Manfred.
that's what they did.
He said that.
Yeah, that's
This
the quote.
This wasn't like leaked texts or anything. He said
Wait,
this out in the
so
open.
this is what they're trying to do in the next.
This is
season?
what happened last season.
Did he
And
just
that's
like?
not like a huge scandal, right?
And he
now?
did.
It is a huge thing.
He just answered this point blank.
They didn't ask him this. Somebody leaked it.
That's what I mean. So that sounds like a leaked thing.
It is. Let me see.
Okay.
I don't remember who.
I was gonna
leaked
say,
it.
I know he's dumb, but how dumb would he be to be like, oh yeah, like that's what
Yeah.
we did.
Yeah, like you're just in an arbitration meeting. He's like, oh yeah.
Yeah, we fixed the games.
Why-
You guys didn't know?
You guys didn't know that? I didn't see you on that email.
Why do you think you hit 140? It's because the ball weighed 6 pounds.
All of those stand home runs were all juice balls.
No, they've been just under the
That
table.
hasn't even-
They've been under the table giving Stanton steroids and allowing it.
That one in the playoffs just wasn't juiced enough. That close.
All right, I think I'm all set here.
Yeah, I'm sad now.
Wheels are falling off.
Hopefully, everything we just said is all for naught because the Yankees made a couple big moves before the lockout happens, because the lockout is going to happen.
He has the same fucking chance of the Yankees signing Correa as me getting my furniture.
Yeah, so just a life update. Chandler ended up moving to the city. That's why he's here on the couch right next to us. And the moving company is holding out his for everything he owns, basically.
Yeah, I slept on a wood floor for 2 weeks. My life's mission now
Couch came in,
is
though,
to make
so-
sure that just one person doesn't use these companies.
So,
And Gene, if you're listening to this, fuck you. I don't even want you to be a listener anymore,
yeah, so.
motherfucker.
If you enjoyed this conversation and the podcast, make sure to leave us a 5-star rating on iTunes. We'd greatly appreciate it. Makes us really happy. And if you want to subscribe to the Bronx Pinstripes YouTube page to catch the episodes live the night before and in video form, those are also out there for you. As always, go Yanks. Appreciate you guys, and hopefully we make a